Timmy, we are back with another episode of Major Wager. I'm sad I missed you, but I'm happy that we're doing this because I'm super excited to get into the NCAA tournament. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's the most wonderfulest time of the year in sports, in my personal opinion. So excited for the tournament. Yeah, man, I'm doing good. I always have a little extra spring in my step before March Madness kicks off. It's actually kicking off tonight. We got the first four in progress right now. But yeah, man, I'm psyched. I'm ready to play some bets. I'm ready to watch some games. Go to Buffalo Wild Wings. Go crazy. It's gonna be awesome. I've got the madness. Can you tell?
I can tell you have the madness. I have the madness too, but I'm not going to be going to Buffalo Wild Wings because I like to watch in my apartment crazy in my underwear because I don't like to be in public for these games.
Yeah, no, I like to vacillate between three modes. I like to be in public at Buffalo Wild Wings. I like to be alone, sad on my couch, and mostly I like to be. And this is true. I'm gonna tell this to the people. Uh, in my classes, I'm a professor. I teach at colleges, teaching with the games on during my day, surreptitiously on my screen on the lectern. So this is something that I will be doing. Uh, None of my students listen to this, but as I'm lecturing on Thursday and Friday, I will have those games up during class,
Where
sneakily
were you?
watching.
Where were
Yeah.
you when I was in school? I would have to watch on my laptop, on my lap, or my phone on the desk. I wish one of the teachers did something like that for us.
No, I mean like they don't see it. It's just me.
Oh, I thought you were playing it for everybody.
No, it's a secret between
Aren't
me
you
and myself.
teaching? Wait, you have to be teaching. How are
I
you
know.
doing that?
No, but I'm doing both. That's what I'm
Okay.
telling you.
So it's just a classroom of you looking down at your game going on while all the kids are probably also looking down at the games going on. So,
No, I'm being brilliant. I'm lecturing. I'm like
oh,
Indiana
you're being
Jones.
brilliant.
Yeah,
I didn't
like so I'm
realize.
you know I'm doing what I usually do, except there's also the game going on. So I'm going like, and therefore, and then I look over, I'm like, yes. And they're like, why do you do that? They don't know.
Well, speaking of being brilliant, last week you were brilliant with Major Wager, and you're closing the gap here, Timmy. Last week I had a stupid like West sweep for the night, like all the West teams to win, and yeah, they also had to beat the spread on those games. And the one that didn't hit was Denver. They had like a 12 and a half spread, plus 12 and a half. So they did not cover the spread. So I lost. I bet $50, but it was a huge payout. So I lost $50, bringing me to 1,070. And then Tim, you had a leg 4 game parlay money hit. So it was all money line for yours. No spreads to cover. And yours hit. And
Yeah.
you bet a whopping 200 at a plus 190 to win $380, surging to 1,008. So you are, what is that? 62 below me. $62. You're right there.
Well, yeah, the greats, they know how to pick their spots. I've been gambling that 100 every week, but this week I felt it in my bones, and I
Mm-hmm.
said, "All right, it's gonna be 200."
You knew
And,
it.
it cashed out. So
Were you also teaching a class when you came up with that bet?
I honestly probably was. I'm almost always teaching and almost always gambling.
They're almost always brilliant too. Well, I figured, like we're talking about, the NCAA tournament kicked off tonight with the first four, but then on Thursday we have the round one games really kicking off. And obviously, like every single year, there's a ton of upsets. There's a ton of stuff going on, and we usually do a bracket with a bunch of our dad's friends, which is strange, but um, shout out to dad. Uh,
I mean, there's other people on that bracket.
so I figured that we would do a little bit of NCAA bracketology, going through it a little bit, place some bets. Obviously, we're going to do one big bet for the bracket. Whoever gets the most points in our bracket, that's just a gentleman's bet. Want to do 100 for that?
Yeah, let's go head to head. I mean, obviously, like, we're both of our brackets are going to get busted, but, just whoever scores the most points within the weighted system of the CBS March Madness bracket,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
gentlemen's bet, $100, just like we've done in the past. I like that.
Cool. Like it. And then at the end of this, after we talk about some stuff, talk about some upsets, talk about what we see in both of our brackets, we're going to go ahead and just make a bet, a single bet. It can be one game, it can be multi-game, whatever it is, but one single bet like we typically do here on Major Wager. So we'll do that after we dissect some stuff in the NCAA March Madness tournament. Tim, I'm going to throw it to you. What do you first see here in the NCAA tournament? What do you want to talk about?
So I feel like the best way to tackle this is to go region by region.
Mm-hmm.
So let's pull up some brackets. I have yours, I have mine.
I will go ahead
Let's
and put
start
those on the screen too, so people can see these.
absolutely. Let's start with the East, and we'll go like let's go East, West, South, Midwest. You
Great.
know,
Yeah.
do one side of the bracket then the other. Um, yeah, let's do it region by region. I think for every region, let's just sort of talk about the region. We can pick our team that we like to come out of the region, storylines that we think are interesting, and maybe we'll choose one juicy little upset uh, per region. So let's start with the East. In the East, so this is I sort of came up with a theme for every region here for me at least,
Mhm.
and the theme of this region is chalk. Okay, I think
Okay.
this is the chalkiest of all of them, meaning that I think the one seeds are really strong, the high seeds are really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, so you have three of the four Final Four teams from last year in this in this region, which
Yep.
is really interesting. You got UConn, of course, who won it all, FAU and San Diego State, all here in this bracket. Um, yeah, as we remember, no number one seeds in the Final Four last year. Is that going to happen again? Who knows?
Who knows?
But this is a stacked little region. Obviously, we have UConn. I really like Iowa State. They've had some great moments lately. They beat the Cougars in the Big 12 championship, kicked their butts. I love that team. There's some other good ones here. So yeah, I like Iowa State. Obviously, I like UConn. Um, San Diego State,
Mm-hmm.
Auburn's a really
I was to say
strong team. So
Auburn is strong. Yeah.
Illinois, great offensive team. We'll see.
It's a juggernaut. It's a juggernaut of a
Yeah,
region.
it's a good region. So let's start with who we have coming out here. Uh, I mean, I said the theme here was chalk. I've got UConn coming out of
Ah,
this region. I this team is awesome.
yeah.
And they're the number one overall seed for a reason. Like Dan Hurley has them playing insanely well. I watched this like 20-minute analysis of just the set plays that UConn runs on offense. And that just convinced me even more than I already was that this is a solid team. They're going to be able to score against anyone. They're just experienced. And yet, again, Hurley just has his team running such complex, offensive sets with like multiple off-ball screens and just great looks. So
Yeah.
more so than most college teams, it's a well-oiled machine. Uh, and I wonder, can this team repeat? Can it be the first team in a long
A
time
long time.
to go back to back? Do we know how long, Luke?
I just was listening to someone talking about that. I don't know. How long has it been?
Okay. Well, now I'm going to make you keep guessing because, all right. So the answer to this question, the last team to repeat to
1998.
win, no, more recent than that, featured a great Celtic that we love.
Oh, a
This is a
great
little
Celtic.
unexpected trivia. You didn't expect this, did
I
you?
did not expect this. Okay, so it's a great Celtic that we love, repeated. Is this person still a Celtic? Can I ask?
He is still a Celtic.
He is still a Celtic. Whoa. Oh
Yeah.
man. Uh, it wasn't Tatum.
Nope.
It wasn't Brown.
Nope. No,
'Cause that's
nope. Brown.
Cal. Yeah,
Yeah. Cal Duke. No.
it definitely did not. Uh, I really don't know. Who is it?
Al Horford. All
Oh,
right. You remember 06, 07 Florida Gators, Billy Donovan team, Joakim Noah,
yeah,
Al Horford, um, Corey Brewer. Yeah, great,
Corey
great
Brewer.
team.
Right.
The question is, can UConn do it this year? We'll see what we think. But in this region, I have them coming out. What do you think, Lukey?
I agree. I have UConn as well, and a big part of it is Dan Hurley. He's also like a lot of people talk about coaches being an extension or the players being an extension of the coach, and he's crazy. He was asking fans to fight him. He has a lot of dog in him, and especially
Oh
for a
yeah.
team that is they're such a big favorite in this. I feel like most people are picking them at least to go far and probably at least to get out of this region, if not to win it all. And usually the reason that those teams get stopped is because they don't have that dog in them. And Dan Hurley, I think, will make sure that they do. This team fights. They're obviously crazy talented. Um, yeah, it's tough to pick anyone else coming out of this region. But like you said, I wouldn't be totally surprised. There are so many juggernauts on this, and there's so many teams that are lower seeds that could also have a pretty good upset in this bracket.
Yeah, if it's not UConn, I like Auburn.
Yeah,
Auburn's great. They just ripped through the SEC tournament, a really deep team.
I have Auburn playing them before. I've Auburn facing UConn
Yeah.
out of that 16.
Yeah, I think I do too, and UConn winning, but yeah, I could see Auburn upsetting the number one overall seed there. So in terms of an upset, I said this for me at least. The theme of this region is chalk. I don't think
Mhm.
there are going to be crazy upsets. We'll save that for a couple of the other regions where I think it's going to be wild. But the one that I like, and this is like obviously, I mean this pick right here is very popular. People are choosing it, but I think for good reason. I like Drake uh, over Washington State in this one. Yeah. And so if you've been absorbing March Madness content, probably got a lot of Drake upset picks. I mean, to the point where, and I double checked this before we started, like Drake is now a 1.5 point favorite in this game. So again,
That's
in
how
a
people
seven
can
ten
push the
game.
line.
Drake is a favorite. I still like them. I'm still definitely going to gamble on them. So Drake is like red hot mid-major team. Ended up winning the Missouri Valley Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Love Tucker DeVries. Love
Tucker
Tucker DeVries.
DeVries.
He's fun. He's a tournament guy, over a 20 point per game scorer. Um, and then for Washington State, like, I don't know. They're 3-3 in their last six. They seem sleepy. This is a terrible spot for them.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, this is one of those quote unquote upsets that everyone's gonna have. But at least in this region, it was sort of the biggest upset I could muster here. I also had Northwestern winning against FAU, but that's an 8-9. We don't really count that as an upset. So what do
Yeah.
you think of that, Luke?
That was my biggest upset in this region too. I love Drake over them. It's obviously like you said, Tucker DeVries, incredible, but also they have four guys who average over 11 points. So not
Yeah, they
only do they
are
have a
scorers.
guy going, he's their go-to guy over 20, like you said, I think 22 points per game, but also four guys that over average over 11 total. So they can hit you from different sides of the court, and they also play really fast paced. They're a fast paced team. Which, like you said, Washington State's felt a little sleepy. So it's something that they could easily get out early in that first half and take it. I don't know if you see my bracket, but I have Drake
I can
going
look
pretty
at it.
far. I have Drake all the way to the Sweet 16.
Ooh,
Yeah, I have them beating Iowa in the second round.
Iowa State.
Iowa State, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, no, I could see that. I mean, you're looking here when we're analyzing the bracket at these potential Cinderella teams. There's always a few who's going to make that run.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, Drake profiles as one of those teams. I like Iowa State. I believe I have Iowa State losing to Illinois in the Elite Eight, but yeah, I like that. I like that Drake pick too. Anything else in this region that you see?
No, like you said, chalk, all chalk for this region.
I see
Other
you
than
have
that,
BYU losing in the
yeah.
first
So
round. That's yeah.
yeah, I honestly, this pick is 100% a whim. I had it as BYU advancing, but I don't know. I'm just not picking my boys in BYU. I don't know what it is. That pick is purely off of uh, a feeling.
Your hatred for Mormons.
My hatred for Mormons, exactly. Yes, of course.
Uh,
No, it 100% off of a feeling on that one. Yeah, but
that's what
nothing
you
else
want
for
to do,
this
man.
region.
You want to throw in those vibe picks, those feel picks.
Mm-hmm.
There's no shame in that game for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so let's move on. We had the same sort of chalky pick there. Let's go down to the West.
Yeah.
Luke, do you want to start here? What do you think about this region?
This region is interesting. There are two teams at the top that really, stand out for me, and that's UNC. And I also like Baylor in this a lot. I really like the team that would like Baylor this year. They look really good. They're pretty hot coming in. But like you were saying, this is one that has some other upsets in it. It's not as chalky as the East. And looking at this, who I have coming out of it is Baylor. Like I said, I really like them.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah, I have them coming all the way out. So not a 1 seed, not a 2 seed. That is a 3 seed in my final four. Yeah, I like Baylor. I like the way that, like I said, I like that the way that they've been playing lately. They have a good record against good teams, winning teams, and they're playing hot coming into it. And again, they play fast pace, which can get on top of a lot of these teams. I like the way that they play. And then as far as upsets in this region, what I have for the West for an upset that I'm looking out for is, hold on, let me pull up my note here on it. I have Grand Canyon 12
Yeah,
seed over St. Mary, the 5 seed.
yeah, yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. Of course I do. Look,
The
we all
Lopes.
know that at some point a 12 seed is going to defeat a number 5 seed because it has happened in 32 of 38 tournaments. So out of 38 tournaments, a 12 seed has beaten a number 5 seed in the first round, 32 of the 38. So it's basically inevitable. And this is
And
the
it,
fifth seed.
and it did not happen last year.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It didn't happen last year. Odds will tell you it's going to happen this year. I don't know if it's going to be this one, but I am picking it. Uh, Grand Canyon finished the season 29-4 for a record, and they won their second consecutive WAC tournament. And for this, it just seems like, look, St. Mary also hasn't lost in the first round since 2019. They keep making it to the second round, then getting ousted in the second round. So they haven't lost in round one in 2019. So also do. But Grand Canyon is playing well. They're 1-0 against top 25 teams. That's 100%. So they're just going
Yeah.
to keep that
With the
record
strength
moving.
of schedule, obviously not as.
That's explains the 29-4. But I don't know. I like Grand Canyon coming out of this St. Mary game. What do you think?
Yeah, this is well. You mentioned the 12-5 thing, and that's obviously something that everyone's looking at that we want to look at. I forget what stat you threw up, but I have another one. 53 and 99 overall in the history of the tournament against 5 seeds.
Yep.
That's over a 1 in 3% chance. Again, none of them won last year, so you're looking at those. I have St. Mary's in this game, so we do disagree on this
Okay.
one. But it's your pick is great. I like it. I love the Lopes. Look, Ty and Grant Foster, really great player. They've got some size.
Yeah.
I just really like St. Mary's. And part of this is analytical, but part of it's not. Like you have your teams, or at least I do, like year after year in the tournament that you just like gravitate toward. And St. Mary's is one of those teams for me.
Yeah.
There's another one coming up on the other side of the bracket that I'll talk at length about. But yeah, I don't know. They had a great they've had a great 2024 so far.
Yeah.
They won 16 in a row before falling to Gonzaga. They're a really good rebounding team. They're averaging 12 more rebounds than their opponents. That's crazy. I look at a few things in the tournament. Rebounding is one of them. There's a few other things, but size and rebounding is a big deal. And I
Yeah.
do think Grand Canyon might have a tough time just keeping up with the physicality of St. Mary's. Who knows? We'll see. But it's a good pick. I did have St. Mary's winning that, and I believe winning 2 rounds. Yeah, I had St. Mary's also beating Alabama in the
Wow.
next round. So Sweet 16 team for me. Alabama, great offense, terrible defense. So that's one of those teams that I think that's going to catch up to them at some point. So I like St. Mary's there, but yeah, I could see your pick coming out. So this region, going with my thematic thing, this is chaos region for me. This is the most chaotic of all of the regions. So I do think you have a strong 1 seed in UNC. I
Yeah.
really like Carolina here. And I actually have them coming out of the region.
I
So
have them
I have two.
in the Elite
Yeah.
Eight against Baylor. I just have Baylor squeezing out.
Yeah. I mean, I have two 1 seeds coming out of this side of the bracket, but the other side is no ones. But besides that, I think there's a lot of chaos here. So,
Yeah.
going down, I just want to comment on the fact that we have this really great 8-9. The Mississippi State and Michigan State. So I have Michigan State losing this game, despite the fact that I don't know what did you pick for this one?
I have Michigan as well. Yeah.
You have them winning.
I have Michigan winning. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I Michigan State. I have Michigan State losing.
Oh,
Actually here,
oh,
despite the fact that Izzo is like 65% in the tournament as an underdog. I just don't. I think this is the worst Tom Izzo team, and I don't think they're Yeah, they're going to be able to compete with that team. So that's not an upset. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
But looking down this side of the bracket, um, so the one I'll go for my biggest upset is New Mexico over Clemson. Um, that one is a 6-11. But I also have Nevada over Dayton. And I thought about Colgate over Baylor.
Wow.
Baylor's one of those teams for me that I don't know. I always sort of shy away from in the tournament. I could see them going as far as you said. I ultimately picked them to win that first game and then lose the second game to New Mexico
Yeah. Well,
because
well, they're a team
well,
that again, Baylor, the one thing that goes against them is that they don't beat good teams very often. They're 500 against the top 25.
and they haven't, at least in my experience, anecdotally performed well in the tournament. So New Mexico over Clemson is one that I love here, and not only that, but actually I like New Mexico to go all the way to the Elite Eight here. I
Wow.
know that's why I said chaos region. I wanted to
That is
pick one of
chaos.
these teams. I just feel like, especially in the bottom half of this region's bracket, I just can see a lot of it. I could see it being, and this is what I have in my bracket: New Mexico, Nevada in that Sweet 16.
Oh my
Nevada
goodness.
knocking off Arizona, New
You're an
Mexico
agent
knocking
of
off
chaos.
Baylor. I
That's
mean,
a lot.
that it's a crazy but it could happen. So,
Yeah.
um, this New Mexico team, uh, yeah, man, great personalities here.
Mhm.
Obviously, like they just had this great run in Vegas. They won the Mountain West tournament there. But yeah, like love the Lobos, man. Los Lobos. We got first of all, as a Celtics fan, you got Eddie House's kid. You got
Mhm.
Jalen House. Like
Jalen House. Yeah.
just a great player, really exciting player. Jamal Mashburn Jr. We didn't get Rick Pitino in this tournament, but we got Richard Pitino. I don't know. There's a certain argument to say that like this team maybe has run out of gas after that big run. Um, I'm saying no. They've got a lot more gas. They got enough gas to go to the Elite Eight. Yeah, I just like this team. There's a couple teams in the tournament this year, and Kentucky's one of them too, that like I just find to be so fun to watch.
Yeah.
And um, I don't know, man. I like this team, and I think it's a weird region. So not only do I have them winning that game against Clemson, but I like them going really cutting through that bottom half of the bracket. So
Yeah, that's really good. I love New Mexico too, and when they win by a lot. Their point differential is like 12 points or something like that. I think they points per game they score over 80, and opponents points per game is about 70. So like they beat teams when they beat them, and they beat them pretty handily. And they don't shoot the three as efficient as some other teams. They're like right around like 33% from three. So they don't rely on the three, which is good and can be really good in this tournament. But I love New Mexico. I don't have them going that far. And I don't
you
even
have
have
them
them getting
beating.
out of the first round. I have
Oh, you don't. You
Clemson.
have Clemson winning.
I have Clemson winning this, but it's a safer bet. I do like Clemson in this tournament, but you do have me thinking a little bit about it because they have been on a hot streak. I guess the question is, how long will this Cinderella story last for them? Because they've been looking really good, but are
It's
they
one of
running out
those
of
teams that
gas?
you want to root for them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you just so that part of that is the heart thing too, that I want to just be rooting for them to get out of this region. So
no,
yeah.
I like that pick a lot. Anything else in this region stand out to you? We like you said, you Bama. Let's see, we got Arizona. How far do you have Arizona going?
Arizona is losing to Nevada. I really like Nevada too
Wow.
here. And I think Arizona is one of those, like, I don't know, like high ceiling, low basement teams. Like
Hmm.
a lot of people are talking, and not I don't think this is going to happen, about even that 215 upset with Long Beach. I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely want to bet. I believe the spread is right now is like 20 and a half on that game. So I definitely want to bet Long Beach to cover that, or to cover that spread. But
They'll
um
cover that. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
pretty.
but no, Arizona's a decent team, but I do think yeah, they'll falter down the line to a team like Nevada.
Yeah, I agree. Sweet. Well, let's move on to the South. How's anything on this like in the South bracket that you're looking at in this region? What do you've okay? So far, Timmy KGB, aka T-Bone Steak, extra rare, no hollandaise. I haven't said it. I had to say it. Is there anything you have chalk on the East? You had, what did you have? You had chaos in the West. What is your day of the word, or day of the word, word
My
of the
day of the
day?
word.
Day of the word. What day word do you use? What is your word of the day for the South region in the March Madness? I can't speak right now. March Madness bracket.
The Mad Marchness.
Mad
So my
Marchness, what
word
is
in
your
this
word day?
one, the word that I chose in this one is indecision because I don't know
Indecision.
who's gonna win. I I could really see a bunch of teams coming out of this region because
Yeah.
Houston is a really strong one seed. I really like Houston a lot. They are the best defensive team in the country
Mm-hmm.
in college. I think best defensive team in the tournament for sure. Um, and so yeah, I could see Houston coming out, but that is not who I have. Um, yeah, so I have Texas Tech coming out of this region,
Whoa.
in this version of my bracket. I could see this being a number of different teams here. I really like Texas Tech in this tournament here. But the heart pick was to pick Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
I just really like them. A lot of future NBA players on that team. They're just like a really fun team. But defensively, Kentucky is going to struggle. And I don't know, like this is a vibe pick, the Texas Tech pick. I like their run of basketball. They
Mm-hmm.
get up a lot of shots. Like they have some physicality, some size. I can see them making this run as not a super low seed, but they're a 6 seed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have them going through Kentucky and then going through Florida. I have Florida beating Marquette in the lower half of that bracket, getting to play Houston in that Elite Eight and winning. Is that going to happen? I don't know. This is what we do in March. We try to predict the future, but yeah, Texas Tech was my pick to come out of this side of this region. What do you think of that one?
Oh, I think that's kind of crazy. I think
Eh,
it's not crazy by any stretch, but it is a little
it's
bit
crazy.
crazy. It's crazy. It is crazy. Because I mean, Texas Tech coming out of that. I have Marquette coming out of this.
Yeah,
So, I mean, safer bet for sure. This is probably, of all of the regions, the one that interests me the least.
yeah. It's
I
the
would say
hardest. I think this is the hardest region to think about.
it's the hardest, and none of these teams really excite me. Like I would be very surprised if any team from this region came out and won the whole thing, or even was in the championship game. I'm not like super high. Like you said, Houston, best defensive team in the tournament, but like when it comes down to it, can they score enough points? I'm not sure. And then, like you said, you got some other just like weird teams in here, like Texas Tech. They could definitely make a run, but there's nobody here that like stands out in this could be a tournament winner. I think each region has a team, whether it's UConn, UNC. I know I picked Baylor to beat UNC, but still UNC is like an overwhelming favorite. Purdue in the Midwest, we'll get to them. But yeah, that my overall thought on this one is just like I don't see anybody coming out. But there's obviously tons of great matchups. You said you had Texas Tech going all the way out of this region, right?
Yeah, I did.
What if I told you that I have Texas Tech losing in the first round
I
against
mean,
NC State?
I wouldn't be that surprised. Wolfpack, baby. I mean,
Wolfpack.
they've got a lot of juice right now.
They got a lot of juice. DJ Barnes is a beast, and he barrels in. He shoots threes too. He's big man, number 30 from them. He provides a lot of energy for this team. They're balanced. Like this team is one of the most balanced teams, especially for the seeding that they have. And they don't shoot a ton of threes. They spread it around. They attack the paint. Like I said, you got DJ Burns in there. He's just a force. And then, like I said, with the other team, there are four different leading scorers in the ACC tournament. They have four different players lead them in scoring in the ACC tournament. So, like anybody, any given night, kind of like the Celtics, kind of like our Boston Celtics, any given night, somebody can score 30, 35, 40 on you. This team is super talented in that way. But also, more so on the Texas Tech side, they've been pretty mediocre with a 7-7 record heading into the tournament. And NC State has rifled off 5 wins in 5 days. So they're hot.
Well, you know what our dad says: a horse that poops fast doesn't poop long.
Dad has never said that to me. I think
Well, he
that's
says it to
just,
me.
I think that's just something that applies to you. And I think it's literal. I don't think that's meant to be taken as a figurative saying. I think he's just letting you know. Um,
I like that. I mean, it makes sense. It's a I don't know. I think the Wolfpack is at least in my viewing of it, sort of poised to run out of steam, poised for a fall. I could see it happening in that first game, but again, I could see it's March Madness, man. We don't know what's going to happen.
wait,
I could see them winning it.
didn't you just say that you were having, who was it? Didn't you just have New Mexico
Yeah, no, I
making a
know,
run?
I know.
So you think they're
I'm
keeping
not,
their
I'm
steam and
not
you
claiming to be consistent in my
all
takes.
right.
No, you're right. You're right. Well, sometimes winning some of those tournaments, having a big run right before March Madness is an asset. Sometimes it's not. If we knew how to predict these,
True.
we'd
That
be
would
rich,
be
but we're not.
everybody would be out of a job.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. That's an interesting one. I think it's gonna be a great game. That's gonna be a really fun first round game.
Yeah.
Um, my upset here, okay, is like I said, I couldn't ride with you on Grand Canyon in that West bracket,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm liking the 12-5 here. I'm liking
Okay.
JMU. All right, to beat the Badgers. All right, Wisconsin, let's
I
go.
like it. I like it.
Um, why? Why do I like this? So a couple things. Let's start with Wisconsin. All right.
Mhm.
They've had a weird season, sort of. Got off to a great start, big skid, lost 8 of 11. Sort of started to right the ship, rebounded a little, beat Purdue in the Big Ten, but Purdue. They're one seed, but we'll talk about them. Uh, they're healthier now. Whatever. This is a different Wisconsin team that I think we're kind of used to. They're much more offense forward than they have been in the past. They're not such a
Definitely.
grinded out team. Not a top defense. They give up a lot of threes. And I think this JMU team is the type of team poised for that kind of upset against specifically the matchup of Wisconsin there.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. They've lost only 3 games all year. They've had a couple good wins. Their strength of schedule obviously doesn't compete with Wisconsin's, but they've had some wins. They beat Michigan State, which, as I said, is Michigan State even that good this year? But, they beat quality teams. They've got lots of ways to score, lots of scorers. I love Terrence Edwards. He's great. They've just got a lot of ways to get it done. Averaging close to 85 a game.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I look for here in March, experience. They've got lots of 4-year guys, lots of veteran guys. So yeah, I like this JMU team. Not to go far. I think I just have them beating the Badgers, and then let me see. And then yeah, losing to Duke,
Yeah. Yep.
who I do like in this tournament. I did consider
Yeah.
Duke for a deeper run, but I have them losing to Houston. But yeah, James Madison. That's my upset here.
I like that. That's a good one. I have Wisconsin in that game, but I do have
Yeah.
Wisconsin losing to Duke in the next round. I actually have Duke beating Houston after that. I like
Oh,
Duke to
nice.
make
That's
it
good. I like
into
that.
the Elite Eight. Yeah. And then it's Duke Marquette. And then, like I said, I have Marquette coming out. I like that pick. And for the reasons you said, too, it does feel like Wisconsin's not the same team that we've been accustomed to here. And James Madison plays well. They're definitely poised for an upset.
That's why I call this the indecision region, though, because like you said, I could see Duke coming out of
Yep.
here. I really wanted to pick Kentucky. Like maybe in my
Yeah.
real official bracket, I will change it to Kentucky over Texas Tech because that does seem a little insane. But and then yeah, I mean even Florida is nice. You said Marquette. There's a lot of teams and of course Houston that I could see coming out of here, and I wouldn't be that surprised. It's
Yeah.
a lot of strong
Yeah.
teams here.
Yeah, it's a lot of teams, and like I said, it's a lot of teams that could come out of here because it feels like there's like a crop of five that could probably come out, maybe four, but it doesn't feel like any of those four or five will make any real noise after making it out of there. I don't think, but we'll see. Anything can happen. This is March Madness. Sweet. So if you don't have anything to say about this region, anything more to say, let's move on to the Midwest because the Midwest is very intriguing. And actually,
Yeah,
in the
it is.
Midwest, I have the biggest upset of my bracket, but I think one of the bigger upsets that I've ever had in a bracket. I'll get into that in a little bit. First, I need to hear Timmy KGB's word of the day for the Midwest bracket. What is this? It's giving what, Tim?
Well,
It's giving
I mean, the word I wrote is Cinderella.
huh,
But what I meant to write was Cockbrenner.
Let's go.
Let's go, dude. Um, do you want me to go first with my what I think?
Yeah, yeah. Rifle it off. What do you have?
Blue Jays, baby.
Blue
I love
Jays.
creating in this region. I love them in general, by the
Yeah,
way, and I
yeah,
think a
yeah.
lot of people do. But you know, we talk about biases that we have in the tournament, and I'm a big Creighton guy, and yeah, man, like this team is no different. They're well coached. You know, this is the time of year. March is for coaches, man. You know,
Mhm.
and McDermott's a great coach. Cockbrenner, as I mentioned, there's gonna be a lot of cock blocks in this game, in this whole tourney. Shireman, Baylor Shireman. I mean, I love the Blue Jays. I really do, and I have for a long time, ever since Dougie McBuckets, and maybe even before. So I have them come. I have them not only coming out of this region, but getting into the final game against UConn. I love Creighton.
Wow.
Yeah, UConn Creighton. I'll just like give it away right now. But yeah, I have that. You know, they're a 3 seed, so I don't know if they technically count as a Cinderella or not. Probably not. But because they're so high seeded. But yeah, I have them beating Akron, going through, and well, I don't want to give away all the picks, but yeah, making it out of this region. I love this team. Great offense, great offensive efficiency. You know, they're highly ranked in both offense and defensive efficiency. So I really like this team.
Yeah, if there were a word that I was giving for this, it would just be upsets. I have a ton of upsets in this. I have the Blue Jays winning in the first round, but I have them losing in the second round to the Oregon Ducks.
I like the Ducks too.
I'm high on the Ducks, and not to
Yeah.
go, they lose in I think the Sweet 16, but to make it out of the first 2 rounds. But I do have them in that second round beating Creighton, which was tough because I love Creighton, and like you, I've been a Blue Jays guy. I usually have them going further than they're projected. They're really good this year. I do have them getting out of the first round, but yeah, I have them beat by the Ducks, which is an 11-3, so it's still a
Yeah.
pretty big upset. But I love the Ducks. The other stuff that I see here is Purdue obviously is great. I love what's his name from Purdue, Zach Edey.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, he's good, but the only issue with him that I see is that he's good at drawing fouls. He's kind of like a unicorn. He's really good at getting to the line, but obviously they swallow the whistle a little bit in the NCAA tournament. But uh,
Also, it's Purdue,
yeah, exactly.
just
That's
in
the other thing.
general. Like I don't know. Like they're just a no for me, dog.
Yeah. And, they're a no for me, but this whole thing, I was going different than I usually go because I usually am last in all of our brackets. I have terrible luck with NCAA brackets. So I switched it
Yeah.
up. Purdue is a
Yeah,
team
you
that I
do suck at
typically,
this. Good point.
I'm really bad. Here's my point. Here's why my bracket, you should listen to my bracket. I'm terrible at this and I've never been good at it. Uh, but I have Purdue always going out in the second round almost every time, no matter how far they're projected to go. I have
They
them
always
going.
do.
They always do, and so that I'm doing well in. But I have them going all the way to the championship game in this.
No, you crazy man. Wow,
I'm a
really?
crazy man.
Hey.
I'm a crazy man. They're gonna get over it. Um, but like I said, like I teased, I do have a big upset in this
What do you got?
region. Do you want to hear what my upset is?
Is it Sanford?
It is Sanford.
I thought so. It's not.
Do
I
you,
don't have that,
I
but
was going to say, do you have that?
I
I have
don't. I don't.
Sanford
I don't.
over Kansas, which again, in the theme of my bracket, I have had Kansas as my winner, default winner, because Paul Pierce went to Kansas.
Yeah.
And I have picked Kansas as the winner of my NCAA bracket almost every year just because of Paul Pierce. And I have them going out in the first round because Sanford's really good and Kansas has not looked amazing. They've looked good, but look, Sanford has 10 guys who basically play the majority of the games. Like they had 10 guys. They have a 10-man rotation that play over 10 minutes. So they're constantly taking guys out, putting guys in. So they're very fresh. They play very fast. I think they're the fastest paced team in the tournament, the fifth fastest. And that's part of that is the 10 guys who play 10 minutes or more. Because they're just rotating fresh legs out there. And out of those 10 guys, 5 of them average over 9 points. They play by committee, and Kansas currently, I mean, they lost in the first round of the Big 12. They have injuries in and out. These players are gonna be back, but having players in and out can disrupt rhythm going into something like a tournament, and it's one and done for this team. So even if these players are healthy that have been out and they're the reason that they lost in the first round of the Big 12, are they going to be able to come right back and just play how they were playing earlier in the year? Because earlier in the year, they looked amazing. Plus, I love Sanford's point guard, Rylan Jones. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Talk about pace of the game, 15.8 points per game, 6 rebounds. And he is really good, and which is valuable in a tournament game, to control the pace of the game and just control the game. So I like him here. It's a good spot. It's a big spot, but I like Sanford over Kansas.
Yeah. I like that. I don't have it. Like I had Kansas winning this game, but I believe losing the very next game to Gonzaga. So
Mm,
yeah, I think this is not your typical Bill Self game. There's a few teams here that profile as like blue bloods that could get surprised in that first round. Samford is, yeah, it's one of those, like you mentioned, a lot of good reasons why they could easily upset Kansas. So I like that one. Yeah, I think there are a few possibilities for those big high profile teams to get upset in the first round. So why not choose Kansas? I like it. Um, yeah, there are a couple here. Like a lot of people are picking McNeese
mhm.
over Gonzaga. I'm not. Also, I don't have as many upsets actually in this region as you might expect. I flirted with a lot of them. I
Yeah,
looked at that Samford one. I looked at McNeese. Like there's all the Will Wade love and like the storylines and the
I know.
protege thing. And I ultimately just looked closer at it, and I just think Gonzaga is better. I mean, it's not the same Gonzaga team that we've seen. So yeah, I do like that pick, Lukey. I do think Kansas is vulnerable, even though I don't have that first round one.
Mhm.
Like I said, not for me, just not as many like first round upsets. I guess my most like the hottest take is Creighton coming out of it,
Yeah,
and going all the way to that final game. But you mentioned it earlier, and I love the Ducks. I really do. I really like Oregon in this for, especially in this first game.
yeah,
Uh, Pac-12 champs, great three-point shooting team. Uh, Dante's great. I really love watching him. Legit
so much
scorer,
fun.
great athlete. South Carolina's going to try to slow this game down. That they play with like one of the slowest paces of any team in this tournament. But yeah, if the Ducks play their game, I think they're gonna get the upset here. And again, this is one of those upsets that where the margins are pretty thin.
Hmm.
And just looking at this one, yeah, I mean 46% of people are picking Oregon here to win.
Yeah.
To win that first game. But so, is it an upset? Borderline. But yeah, I
The
really like the Ducks in that one.
the only thing that I think in that could stop them is Sanford has Sanford, South Carolina has a really good defense. I mean, they hold opponents to under 70. I think it's like 66 points per game. And the Ducks have not played super well against top 25 teams. They're 1-3 against top 25 teams. So will their offense be able to find ways to score against the South Carolina with such a good defense? I'm obviously thinking they are. I have them going a couple rounds in, but that will be the biggest test in that first round game, just to see if they can overcome that defense. So go over, who do you have then in your final four? Let's do our final four and talk about who we have winning it all.
Well, I want to highlight TCU before we leave this region. I also have
Yeah.
TCU beating the Aggies in that first round and and really making a little run, beating Purdue also in that second round. So that'd be
Wow.
another big upset that I really like TCU in this one, um, and going and facing Gonzaga in that Sweet 16. So that's
I,
another
I,
one I wanted to highlight from this region.
I have TCU beating Utah State in the first round, but I do have them losing to Purdue. Like I said, I have Purdue going all the way
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
championship game. So yeah, I mean TCU is super exciting too. I like that our brackets are fundamentally different.
yeah.
Like
They're really different.
the
Yeah.
bases we're using are very different, which is awesome. So that we'll know pretty quickly who's going to win the gentleman's bet. Um, okay, so final four, Timmy.
Final four, yeah.
What do
So
you
my
recap
yeah.
who you have?
So I have UConn coming out of the East. I have North Carolina coming out of the West. So two 1 seeds on that side of the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
I have Texas Tech, not a 1 seed, coming out of the South, and then yeah, my Creighton Blue Jays coming out of the Midwest. And then the final game, I have UConn Creighton, a combined score. Well, I'm not going to say what my combined score is.
Yeah.
135 is what I wrote. And I have UConn winning and repeating. That's obviously whatever, but I just do. I really, really think UConn is deserving of of the flowers they've been getting. So I picked them going all the way and winning.
I think so too. I have UConn and Baylor, and then I have Marquette and Purdue. I have Purdue beating Marquette, and I have UConn beating Baylor. And my champion is also UConn. So we are
Okay.
sitting on the same champion. And to me, what tilts the scale, I didn't want to be that guy who picks the number one projected team and the favorite to win the NCAA tournament. It's the coach. Like you said, coaching really matters this time of the year. I think that he is such a fantastic coach. And like I said, he brings the energy. So even if this team finds themselves maybe in a position that they might, uh, you know, get beaten by an underdog, he's not going to just sit there and be quiet and let this kind of like the wave wash over them. Dan Hurley is a badass,
Yes.
and if they start to lose or if they lose, we'll all be winners because he will fight a fan of whatever team beat him. And so either way, it's gonna work out well. But yeah, I have out of them, I have UConn winning, beating Purdue, and final score. I'm not going to tell you my final score.
Okay.
But yeah,
Fair.
that's what I have right now. And is it boring to pick UConn? I don't think so because they're such a fun team, and it's
Is it
bound to happen
boring? I
again.
mean, they are the number one overall seed, but also it's predicting the first repeat in a very long time. So I think it's not. I mean, a lot of people are going to pick it. You're going to look at the March Madness polls. There's going to be a lot of Huskies in that image. But yeah, I don't know. We have the same one, but very different paths to getting there. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So gentlemen's bet with the brackets. I'm going to have fun tracking that over the next couple of weeks and
Yep.
talking about it on Major Wager. But let's make our game bets
Yeah.
because the most fun part of March Madness is making absurd whatever they are, same game parlays and little player props. I mean, I'm gonna need a chaperone, Loki. I got, like I said, I've got the madness. I gotta rein myself in. It's too much, man. I get too excited for
Just
March Madness.
wait until you get into Buffalo Wild Wings.
No. I only get more excited
That's
with
what I
every
mean.
wing. With each and every wing.
With each and every wing. Nom, 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 nom. Nom, 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 nom. I
I'm
don't
like,
want to be
let's
there.
go,
I'm so
Aggies. I
happy
just
that I'm
played.
not going
Yeah.
to be there.
So, we'll see. But what do you got? What's your bet, Luke, for
So
the
like
first couple days?
like you said, this is a super fun part. And we're going to be doing this each week with Major Wager as the rounds go on. So every time there's a new slate of games, we'll pick new games for this. So my pick, I have a same game parlay, and I'm going to ride with a team that I picked as one of my upsets in us just going over the brackets. I'm going to stick with this team. Might as well put money as well as a little bit of juju into the atmosphere. So I'm going with Drake over Washington State, and I'm taking the money. I'm doing same game parlay that's 3-leg. I'm doing the money line for Drake. I'm doing team total points over 69.5. So
I
them
like
to
it.
score at
Yep,
least
I like
70.
that.
And finally,
What do you got?
I got Tucker
Yeah,
scoring
yeah,
over 20.5 points.
yeah. Is that what
Tucker
it is? They
DeVries,
have they have DeVries at 20.5.
20.5. So I have
I might
him
have to
over
take that. I
20 and a
like
half.
them.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
too. I think he's gonna. That's obviously under his average, and he's shown that he plays well in big games. But that 3-leg parlay is plus 252, and I'm throwing the major wager standard 100 at that, and that'll win me a total payout of 352.
Look, I don't say this a lot on Major Wager, but I like that bet.
Thank
I'm
you.
very jealous of that
You
bet.
only say it every
No, I'll
time.
hop on it. Not for this, but I'll hop on it in real life with you. I like that because I like bets that follow a game script. That's a definite game script for Drake to win,
Right.
and you're going to need to score a certain amount of points. I like the right. It's what do you say, 69.5? That's
69
what.
and a half points.
And then
Yep.
I obviously like DeVries to have a big game if we think Drake's going to win, which we both do. So
Right.
that's one of those ones where if the money line's going to hit, it's probably because Tucker has a good game. Yada yada yada. So that's
Exactly.
that's a very good. Mine is insane compared to yours. Mine
Okay.
sucks. I mean,
Yours sucks.
it sucks in a way. Like you'll see. Like I mean, I don't know. I just so I want I really get into in March Madness the player props. I just really love that, which is so stupid because they're college kids and they can't be depended on.
Right.
But yet here they are. So I have a 3-leg player prop from 3 different games. And you know, first we have my boys in Creighton because I already talked about how much I love them. But
Yeah.
Baylor Shireman, and I want him over 2.5 3-pointers.
Oof.
So to make 3 threes. Okay.
That's not bad. Okay.
That's minus 160. I mentioned I love Kentucky. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I really want Antonio Reeves over 26. Wait for it. Not points. Over 26 combined points, rebounds, and assists.
Okay. Totals. Okay. Yep. I like that.
And then Coleman Hawkins from Illinois
Uh-huh.
is, I thought this was low, but his point line is 10.5, over 10.5 for Coleman Hawkins. And, you know, it's not, I think he averages like 13, 14, but I thought he's going to clear that in this game. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's 10.5.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But I like that one. So those all jumped out to me as scoring or offensive props for 3 players that I really like, all 3 of those players. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
you know, it's just a little side action. We putting a lot of money on the games themselves and the lines, but I just thought I want to have one where where's Coleman Hawkins? How many points I'll be at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Pass it to Colton. He has 9 points. Pass it to him.
So those 3 together are plus 456.
Ooh.
A little rich for usually I'm a little bit more conservative than that. How much money do I have?
Okay, so going back to where we're at, you have $1,008.
So I'll bet $8. No, I'm kidding. Should I bet $108?
If you want to be like me, then that's what you should do.
I obviously do. I mean, that's sort of my whole thing.
Your whole thing is
so
wanting to
if I did bet $108 to then I would win $601. And so that's what I shall do.
See that $1, now that I've convinced you to do the 108 and that gets you the 1. What if you win major wager by $1?
I'll be like, Baylor Shireman. I'll make you buy me a Shireman jersey.
Oh man, if that's what you want, sure.
I kind of do want one.
That'd be cool. That's a deep cut.
I bet there aren't any jerseys of him, actually. I don't know. There probably are.
People will think that you went to school there or something.
Yeah, they'll be like, "What's up?"
And you're like, "Oh no, I just got it." It is a major wager thing.
I just like the color blue.
Yeah. All right, sweet, man. Well, I'm super excited for this. I'll be obviously giving updates for as the tournament goes, where we're at point wise with the brackets. Like we said, gentlemen's bets for the brackets, $100 to win 200. And that's just the overall point system that CBS assigns the brackets, just regular bracketology. And whoever ends up with the most points gets that gentleman's bet. And then we just placed a bet for the first round. I had a 3-leg parlay with Drake, with Tucker scoring over 20.5, the whole team scoring over 69.5, and money line for Drake. And then Tim, you had your bet with 3 different teams.
You had your insane thing. It's over 2.5 Baylor Shireman 3-pointers, over 26.5 Antonio Reeves points, rebounds, and assists combined, and over 10.5 Coleman Hawkins points.
No, it's an insane just because there's 3 different teams, but actually it's pretty simple.
Plus 456, betting $108 to win $601.53.
And the 53. You didn't say anything about the 53 cents. Okay,
you're
withholding information from me. Mine is betting 100 to win $352.00. I got no cents. I don't make around with that cents stuff like you do. Sweet. I'm super excited, dude. I know I'm not going to be able to be drunk in Buffalo Wild Wings with you, but I'll be drunk alone here by myself 1,000 miles away. But we will be talking, we'll be texting, and I'm super excited.
I'll FaceTime you when that third Shireman 3 hit.
Go! All right. I love you. You're beautiful. I want to kiss your beautiful face. I will, I'll see you soon. Talk to you soon, dude. Mwah, mwah.
Peace.
Mwah.
Happy March.
A major wager. Mwah.
Mwah.